Alright, what is up, X Mafia? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a kind of a follow-up to last week's video, but it'll be on the next animated show instead of the next, live action, which is Maul. Now, season 1 of Maul was pretty good, but obviously left us off on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm just gonna try and guess what's gonna happen, but it'll be a mix of what I hope happens and what I think will happen. So we do know that there will be a time jump. Of how much, we do not know. And I think, as you'll see, this will kind of depend or change some of the things that I plan on talking about. I think it will start off with Devon in a Sith, more like Sith form, closer to Darth Talon. Probably not going to go down that route exactly. It'll just be an adaptation of the character. Maybe with Sith eyes, maybe not. And I think this show will take place on Dathomir. I think it would be a better solo connection. Makes sense after Janix. Where else would it really go? I think we're gonna have to obviously see Riley and Two Boots. That's probably like the agreement that her and Maul have. But she does care for them. More so Riley. Maybe we'll see a relationship from them. They kind of somewhat hinted at it, or at least opened up the possibility of it happening with season 1. So I wondered if that's gonna happen with season 2. And again, depending on the time jump, maybe they'll be older. Maybe Riley will actually have like a use, like he just won't be like a person that's there. Maybe you have like a role. Maybe he'll be helping Maul, like missions or stuff. Maybe like a bounty hunter type of character. Definitely will be more grown up though. Same with Devon. I think it'll be probably a few years difference. And Two Bits will just be there. I think Kira would be involved, possibly in like an actual relevant way. Or maybe it's like a character. Because I think Maul will meet her in this show. Because maybe it'll be a season 3 where Kira is the apprentice instead of Devon. I guess I'll get into that later. I think this will take place before Solo. But I think it's 5 years or 7 years after episode 3. Not sure on the timeline exactly. But I think that gives us enough room to assume that it'll still be Dryden Voss as head of Crimson Dawn. Obviously, I think Lawson's alive. Rook is dead. That description by her voice actress was clear enough. Lawson will be used probably just in prison. And once the Empire learns that Maul is, I think they'll try to use Lawson as bait. Because they'll know that Riley's with them. And Devon. Honestly, I don't really know how they'll figure it out. Or where Maul is. But I think we'll get the return of Marok. Obviously, even no matter the time jump, the 11th brother is dead at this point. Because Tales of the Jedi, that episode, and Shadow Lord Season 1 take place in the same year, so it's just a time jump. Just gotta assume the Crow's dead, so we're not gonna be seeing him again. Marok definitely didn't die. He got like force pushed or something off a cliff, but he definitely didn't die to that. That was just to get him out of the way. So I think we'll actually see him die in this show, on Dathomir. Possibly like right before the finale. and then maybe Morgan and Elspeth will still be on the planet. Because the second episode of Tales of the Empire, we don't know when that takes place. And by the looks of the Star Destroyers, Stormtroopers, and even Thrawn, we know it's probably relatively deep into the Empire. So there's a chance that she's still stranded on the planet. And maybe she'll be in the show too. And maybe she'll just come across Morak's body. And, I'll cut off from there. Because we kind of know what happens. But yeah, Morak definitely dies in this. I also think we're going to get the 8th brother. Because he was kind of ignored. Well, not really ignored, but I feel like for a character who spent most of his time hunting Maul, you would think he would come up at some other point. I think this could be a good... Because he seems interesting, so I feel like it'd be a good point to introduce him. If they are doing a 3rd season with, like, Hera, I would just definitely assume by then. But if they're just doing 2 seasons, then I think he could show up in this. If for some reason the time jump is after Solo, then maybe Hera and Devon are his apprentices. But I don't think they'll do that. I think that's way too much to do in 1 season. So maybe they don't. Again, depending on the timeline, maybe that Inquisitor that we don't know the name of from Tales of the Underworld will show up. If the time jump isn't that drastic. Because by the look, if they're Stormtroopers, so who knows, probably a few years after. Episode 3, that tells the End of the World episode, so he could definitely appear. And then here we go to the 2 juicy points. Mother Talon will appear in some way, shape, or form on Dathomir. And that Vader and Palpatine will show up. And this will kind of act like as the, not canon because it is canon, but the on-screen type of Son of Dathomir kind of plotline. I think that could happen. And maybe it's like Devon and Kira who help Maul, leave while witnessing Talon die. But at the same time, Son of Dathomir is canon, so they probably wouldn't do that. But I definitely do think those 2 will be involved. Maybe I don't think they're gonna kill off Devon. I think there's a random chance that they do. That Darth Talon is a main villain of the sequels, not the sequels, but of the new trilogy. And then maybe she's like kept in like prison. Maybe she's frozen. I can't remember the name of that. I'm a casual fan. No. Cryo sleep. Maybe that type of thing. Just be around, but you won't die. And that's how we get Kira involved. Or at least on Maul's radar. And for Lawson, I would assume he probably dies too. Probably Riley too. Or maybe they're captured together. Who knows? Maybe Riley will be the Darth Crate. Now, I think if they're going to use this crate, I think they do it Obi-Wan Season 2, which may happen. This would be a really weird way of just getting those storylines connected. But I think that's going to be it. If you got any comments on this, make sure to let me know. And I probably won't upload a Star Wars video for a little bit, but I definitely got some ideas. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next one.